Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on Starline by an actor and film director. You've seen him in True Blood, After, Ever Happy, Prince, Valiant, and many others. His latest project for the former head choir boy is directing his wife in A Bit of Light. We welcome Stephen Moyer.
How you doing? Good to see you, Sean.
Absolutely great, Stephen. Let's go beyond the mic. A Bit of Light has been a sensation on the festival circuit, now heading to theaters. Why was this such a challenging project for you, other than directing your wife?
Yes, that gets put in a separate box. I found this film. Very dear friend of mine wrote it as a play, and I read it, and I thought it was really beautiful. It's about a mother who loses custody of her children due to some destructive behavior of her own, and she is so broken, having got herself sorted out and sober, but having lost custody of the kids while she's getting herself together, that she goes to a local playground that she used to take the children to, and she watches other children in order to punish herself. And she just does not believe that she deserves them or she deserves forgiveness. She thinks that she has done everything wrong in her life, and she is full of guilt, but also full of grief for the life that she broke apart. And she, whilst she's at that park, all the parents are parenting and all the kids are being kids, but there is a 13-year-old boy who's there sort of oddly by himself, and he sees her. And he sees her sadness, and he decides to sort of put her back together again. He decides he's going to make it his mission to make her better and see the goodness in herself again. So he is the sort of figurative bit of light in the title. Obviously, you know, what I've just described there is a tough movie to get financed, because it's about difficult things, and often, you know, there's no speedboat chases or car chases. It's a little intimate drama, and they're difficult films to get financed.
How has previously working with your friend Rebecca heightened your own expectations of this project?
That's a good question. We had worked together 25 years ago as actors, and in fact, it's not that we'd lost touch, but I live in America now and she's in the UK, and I had read this wonderful bit of news that she'd won an award for this play. I didn't even know she was writing. And I sent a message to her and said, I want to read your play. It sounds incredible. And she had just read a review of a film that I'd directed back then in 2018 and said, I just read an amazing review of your film. So we already had a proximity of closeness. This film is based loosely on her life. It takes an idea of something that had happened to her, but also she writes about a sort of magical realism aspect of it that she wished had happened at the time too. And that really can be described as the little boy, Neil, like who she sort of wrote a character who she would have loved to have come along and helped her at the time. And I just thought it was a really wonderful idea of the nature of forgiveness in our society. It's like everybody deserves, you know, we've all done some challenging, difficult things, especially in our youth. And I like the idea that you can, that there's a hand there to sort of go, it's okay, come on, you can get better. You know, in our society, you know, everybody does things. You see people on the street you know, who have made some difficult choices or whatever. And I like the idea that there's retribution.
Stephen, what did you learn from directing The Parting Glass that made A Bit of Light easier for you?
Don't do independent movies again. I'd asked for 20 days on Parting Glass and ended up with 17, just because, you know, on The Parting Glass, you know, Cynthia Nixon, Melissa Leo, Ed Asner, Rhys Ifans, Anna, Dennis O'Hare, road movie with an 87-year-old Ed Asner, and 20 days would have been a push, but 17 was tough. And that was another $1 million film. And when you do these $1 million films, you don't get locations a second time. If something doesn't go right on the day, you're stuck with what you have. So I should have learned not to do it again, but I didn't. And like 3 or 4 years later, I end up with this, asked for 20 days, ended up with 17. And so, what have I learnt? Make films that have a speedboat chase.
A Bit of Light is the movie, and Stephen Moyer, director, joins us beyond the mic for the Rocky and 8. All this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to mind. There's no pressure.
I feel pressure, Sean. I feel big pressure.
Best thing about your wife, Anna?
She is 100% fully behind me in everything I do.
What was the last West Ham match you watched live, and did they win?
Crikey. I'm going to mention the one. I took my son to see us play Man City at home. It was his first West Ham game, and we lost 5-0. And it was his first realization that West Ham were rubbish.
What's the best thing from craft services?
Ooh. I'm a cheese freak. I love those little cut up cubes of cheese on a cracker.
If you could ask the King of England one question, what would you ask?
Oh my God, one's really hard, Sean. I would ask if he's got one of those Japanese toilets that's got like the seat warmer.
Very nice.
My dad always used to say, "They're just like us, mate. They go to the toilet," and so there you go.
One thing that made your kids, Lilac, Billy, Charlie, Poppy, so much fun growing up.
Giving them a sense of play, that there is. That no sense of imagination or ideas or anything that they wanted to do was ever out of bounds to imagine.
How did your romance with Anna change the way you see love?
I wasn't looking for love, and when I met Anna, I was single, she was single, and we did everything we could to sort of fight it, and only because we were starting this 7-year project together, hopefully 7 years. And I would say that it's often been for me in life that the least expected thing comes along when you are not looking for it. And so there's always that sort of possibility of hope, which kind of ties into the film a little bit, really.
Stephen, what was the most memorable class at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art?
I had an amazing fight teacher called John Waller. He was head of the British Armoury, and my class, I specialised because of John in 18th century épée work, which is pointed work. So saber's cut,
saber slash, and épée is touch,
and rapier and dagger is and I got really, really good at it because of John. And so when I was being really naughty and nearly got expelled, the legend that is John Waller went to his very, very first staff meeting in like 25 years of teaching at Lambda and said, "You cannot get rid of him. He's really good at fight."
Favorite movie you'll watch no matter wherever it is when you turn it on?
Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, that's a good one. It's time for One Big Question with director of A Bit of Light, Stephen Moyer, beyond the mic. Stephen, how does the theme of love and redemption not only fill A Bit of Light, but your own life?
I think that throughout my life, I've made some crazy, nutty decisions based on the idea of just wanting to experience everything and go nuts. And because of that, made some pretty precarious choices along the way. And, learning to sort of just like yourself a little bit after those choices can then help you be a better dad, friend, lover, husband, brother, son.
He's a cheese freak. Would ask the king about his toilet. He wants you to watch A Bit of Light. Stephen Moyer, Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you, Sean.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.